Hello, everybody. My name is Catherine Martin, and welcome to my presentation. I will be talking to everybody about the best techniques for Jaguar research. So jaguars can be a bit difficult and dangerous to study, considering they're one of the most powerful carnivores on land. They're also loners and they live alone, so that makes them very antisocial. And they do everything in their power to avoid humans. They're also nocturnal and easily stressed. So all of these factors can make it very difficult to even find them in the wild. Any changes in their habitat are also very stressful to them, so they're highly sensitive to those kinds of changes. Over the years, scientists and researchers have attempted many different kinds of techniques, such as inserting tracking devices into the jaguars, but those haven't really gone too well, and the jaguars don't react too good to this. The anesthesia is a safety concern, and being close to one of the most powerful predators is also a very dangerous task. So, how can we study these amazing animals without interfering with their natural behaviors and keeping everybody involved as safe as possible? Some scientists suggest using radio telemetry as a way to study these species, as you can see in the picture in the middle left-hand side. That's a jaguar with telemetry devices on him and a collar also. The collar will emit a radio signal, and this signal can be picked up by devices that researchers will have. And this collar will collect data throughout the day. You can set up the settings yourself and collect as much or as little data as you want, but you should always keep in mind there's a battery, so you want to save your battery as much as you can. Using this method, you can collect information on where the jaguars spend most of their time, where they hunt, where they meet other jaguars, where they drink, and anything else you can think of. The good thing that comes with this kind of technique is that you get to collect as much or as little data as you please. And they're very easy to use, but unfortunately, not everything can be perfect. So just getting the collar onto them is a whole mission. You need very extensive training, which requires probably a couple of veterinarians, which will make your research more expensive. Anesthesia is also takes an incredible amount of training, and some jaguars can react badly to it and have adverse effects once coming out of the anesthesia. So this can also affect their behavior and skew your data and have you collecting incorrect data. The collar itself can also affect all of their natural behaviors and increase their stress levels. Because again, any changes to them or in their environment, they're very sensitive to. Luckily, there's more options like camera trapping that we can also use to get our research from. So the way camera trapping would work is you would set cameras up in different stations in a habitat, and you can cover a lot of area by doing this. And usually researchers will use scents or bait to attract the animal that they're researching. So they'll come close to the camera and they can capture some pictures or videos. The good thing that comes with this technique is there is no interaction with human to jaguar interactions. So there's not much stress involved at all. Jaguars can go about with their regular behaviors, and you don't need any kind of extensive training to get any of this done. So that will also make your research cheaper, which everybody loves that. And with camera trapping, you can also get some different models like SCCR models and occupancy models. I have a picture of an example at the bottom of my poster so you can see what an SCCR model would look like. But unfortunately, this technique also has some downsides to it because it can create some bias and give you some biased data. Sometimes population densities can also be overestimated since with camera trapping, you would have to find a way to identify the jaguars. Some people use the rosettes, but it's just a very difficult task to get done. It takes a very well-trained eye in that area. But luckily with SECR models, they can help us get more accurate estimations on populations, on movement patterns, on survival rates, and a lot more behaviors of the jaguars. You just have to be careful because this model is sensitive to assumptions that can lead to creating more bias, and you would also need a fairly large sample size for a successful model. So I would recommend using camera trapping because it's cheaper, you'll get data that isn't skewed. You do have the risk of having bias, but I feel like that would be better than having skewed data. And you can also get data on occupancies. It also doesn't require any equipment being worn by the actual animals, so their behaviors won't be interrupted. So hopefully the future of jaguar research is safer and more accurate using these kinds of techniques. And that would be everything for my presentation. And I really appreciate everybody's attention. And I hope you guys learned a little bit. Thank you.